It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting of the Brooklyn City Council to order. Mary Jo, can you please call the roll?
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Aaron Borowski.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Sue Grodick.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Absent excused.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Here.
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Councilman Borowski will lead us in opening remarks.
I ask for everyone to bow their heads. Dear God of creation, with the winter coming upon us, let us pray and say thanks to the beauties of winter. Simple things such as icy windows, falling snow, sledding, hot cocoa, to the powerful reason of the season, the birth of Christ. Please let us enjoy this wonderful season, your creation, and its glory. Amen.
We do have minutes to approve from the November 28th meeting. Does anybody in council have comments or questions?
Motion approved.
Second.
To approve the minutes, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
The mayor has a proclamation tonight.
If I can invite Ed Stutzman and your family up, please. Welcome. Thanks for coming. So tonight I have the honor of giving Ed Stutzman a proclamation. He is retiring here from the city of Brooklyn. He started his career here on September 13th, 1999, and he will retire on December 30th. He started as a maintenance worker at a recreation center and is now our senior bus driver. And he's appreciated by all who know him, especially our seniors who get to see him on a daily basis going to the senior center. He's always on time picking up our seniors. He goes above and beyond, helps them walk in their groceries every single time, helps them with their assistance when they need it, and always lends a talking ear or he likes to make sure they have a ear to listen to when they need a good laugh too. Ed took great pride in maintaining the senior center building, helping up for luncheons and special events, and assisting whenever he could. So on behalf of the city of Brooklyn, our city council, and the entire city, we want to thank you for your long service here. And we appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have some special guests with us tonight from Girl Scout Troop 700. Boy Scout Troop 700. If we can ask Scoutmaster Roberts and the boys to stand, we'd like to welcome you guys to the council meeting tonight. At this time, we will have the public session. If anyone in the audience has anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address, and you will be recognized. Please remember to keep your comments to 5 minutes or fewer.
Victor Ardito, 7439 Outlook Avenue.
I'm a little jealous of Ed. I went to school with him. He's younger than me, the son of a gun. And I won't tell any embarrassing stories because there were a few. But he's a heck of a guy, and so were his parents and his dad. I knew his dad well, too. They're both characters, and Ed carried on, and hopefully his son's doing the same. Thank you.
At this time, we will have reports of committees, commissions, and boards. We will start this evening with the Recreation Board. Councilman Tansky.
Thank you. Next Recreation Board meeting held on December 19th has been canceled. I close the report.
Thank you. Next up, we have Committee of the Whole. Committee of the Whole met tonight at 6 o'clock to discuss all of the items on tonight's agendas. All of the zoning legislation was recommended that we defer to the next meeting. We do have 2 of these ordinances that will have amendments tonight. And all of the legislation on third reading or recommended by administration to pass with suspension of the rules was recommended that we pass it tonight as well. Next up, we have the legislative update by Councilman Borowski.
Thank you. My legislative update for today is about Senate Bill 178. This past Wednesday, the Ohio Senate passed Senate Bill 178 on a vote of 22-7. The bill would rename the Ohio Department of Education to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, due, as it would come to be known, would be led by a cabinet-level director position under the governor. This individual would be in charge of making most of the decisions that the State Board of Education makes, such as criteria for state testing, developing learning standards, and model the curriculum for over 1.7 million K-12 students. The bill now heads to the House, where its fate remains unclear. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up, we have the School Board Liaison, Councilwoman Pucci.
Thank you. The school board met on Tuesday, November 29th at 6 p.m. in room 173. I'll just provide an overview of the agenda. Under the superintendent's report, he congratulated the fall athletes and honor merit roll recipients, wished good luck to the winter sports participants, and announced that bowling is back this year. Mentioned the business advisory event. There were 15 to 20 businesses that participated, and they hope to make this an annual event. They have completed the facility assessment and will receive a report in the next month or so. There will also be a presentation on this report for the public. Under the treasurer's report, there was a review of the 5-year forecast, including reviewing what renewal levies are coming up. They did have an interesting fact on the funding, and that is for the Brooklyn City Schools, 1% of funding comes from the federal government, 14% comes from the state, and 85% comes from our own local dollars. And this part is just my own commentary. This is why not just our schools, but schools across Ohio have to keep coming back to the voters, because even though it was ruled unconstitutional in the 1990s, and there have been some tweaks to the system, school funding is still overly reliant on local dollars. Now back to the report. The schools are waiting to see what state funding will be in the next biennial budget in 2023. Please watch the presentation for more detail. The school board adopted resolutions approving minutes and financial statements, congratulating their honor, merit roll, athletic honors, and the participants in the OSU Honors Band. They entered an agreement with Bridges Interpreting. This is to provide interpretation services, including sign language, and this is a backup to the primary company that is providing this service. An agreement with TLC Transportation Services as needed. This is mostly for the band. Approved a day trip to Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village in May. Adopted a policy on video surveillance and electronic monitoring. Approved on-call rates, a volunteer. It was Mr. John Pata who volunteered to assist in the mock trial program. They approved leaves, resignations, call substitutes, supplemental coaching, and athletic workers. They approved a contract with Architectural Vision Group to facilitate the district's facility master plan and coordinate capital improvement projects as needed. They adopted a settlement agreement with Medical Mutual so that they can make their payments twice a year instead of once a year. And they accepted donations of computer equipment from TriAntage and paint worth $1,800 from Sherwin-Williams of Lakewood. The board also met on Tuesday, December 6th at 6 p.m. in the Treasurer's Conference Room. I did not attend this. The only thing on the agenda was going into executive session, and I understand it was to discuss the potential sales/purchase of property, and there was no action taken. The next meeting is Tuesday, December 20th, 6 p.m., room 173. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Planning Commission, Councilwoman Sue Grodick.
Thank you. The Planning Commission met on December 7th and approved a request for an illuminated wall sign at Absolute Care at 7580 North Cliff Avenue. Approved a request for an internally illuminated wall sign for Special Smokers Smoke Shop at 6950 Bidoff Avenue. Approved the final site approval plan for 8,300 square foot expansion at Walmart at 1000 Brook Park Road. That expansion is for their online sales, and it will not be accessible to any customers, so it'll be completely internal. We approved a conditional use request for a library in a residential district for the Cuyahoga County Public Library Brooklyn branch at 7619 Memphis Avenue, soon to be known as the former City Hall and Police Station. And approved a request for the preliminary site plan approval for Cuyahoga County Public Library Brooklyn branch at 7619 Memphis Avenue. If you are interested in seeing the plans for the library, it is available on board docs under the Planning Commission meeting. Beautiful plans. I encourage you to go look at what they're proposing for this site. Our next meeting will be January 4th at 6 p.m. and that concludes my report.
Thank you. And I do have a quick Domestic Abuse Commission update. It is the holiday season, so there are a few reminders of self-care courtesy of the Journey Center for Safety and Healing. Make sure you set aside time to recharge, say no if you need to, keep in touch with people who make you feel loved, set boundaries with families, and best of all, enjoy your favorite holiday treats. The Journey Center has help available 24/7 via call or text at 216-391-4357. Now we will move on to Council's reports of the Council. We begin in this evening with Councilman Borowski.
Thank you. This past week, I spoke with the Westbrook Apartments about the increase in car vandalism and theft. Nationally, as we all know, there's a huge influx of stolen Kias and Hyundais, so please be aware of such things such as locking your doors and possibly investing in a steering lock. And to the questions that some residents have of whether or not they're looking to increase their patrols or add to their security staffing, they said that they have a working relationship with the police department currently for increased patrols. And they also said that the metrics that they rate their increase or decreases in crime upon their properties have relatively not changed. That's another reason for the decision of not adding to their staff. I want to personally say thank you to Liz and Eric Dragney for the personal invite to the city to check out their wonderful holiday village at their home. Nicely and enthusiastically decorated miniature homes, shops, and figurines brought out some wonderful holiday cheer. Also, a big thank you to Santa and the crew that flew through Brooklyn this weekend. It's been a wonderful Christmas tradition for years. So again, thank you. And I also want to wish everyone a wonderful and magical Christmas and holiday season. I'm expecting big things for Brooklyn in 23, and I hope that we can all continue in our own ways, big and small, to better our community. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Tansky?
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate Ed Stutzman on your retirement. Thank you for your service in our community and all the best in your future endeavors. I just want to piggyback what I brought up last week about the pensions and why I'm against 2022-44. I just got an email on the Central States pension. What the Central States pension is, it covers about 10, 11 states, 350,000 retired union workers. This came from the White House today. Nearly 350,000 retired union workers and their families, about 40,000 of them in Ohio, finally will see the rescue of their financially troubled pension plan in what is said to be the biggest bailout of such in U.S. history. The White House announced this morning that it was awarding $35.8 billion. This is your tax money. To the Central States Pension Fund, which provides benefits primarily to retired Teamster truck drivers and their families who had fought nearly a decade to save the fund. Here's the problem with that. It saved my pension too, so I'm happy for that. But here's the problem. In the last 25, 30 years, you've had politicians, not all of them, voting for trade agreements that have taken our jobs outside of the U.S. Every one of these jobs that have left paid into these pension funds. When you reduce the participants in any pension fund, you destroy it. You might not destroy it right away, but you will destroy it in time. That's what happened here. My pension was going insolvency by 2025. And now it's good to 2051. Taking your private tax dollars to pay this. Because these politicians, both parties, doesn't matter who, have voted for these trade agreements, pulling members out of the pension fund. Just so we can find something cheaper overseas and then pay for it later. Mr. Stutzman, you retired, you're in a PRS pension fund. Now that's being replaced out of the PRS pension fund. He's going to be enjoying pension just like everyone up here on city council enjoys the pension. There are two of them here, Councilman Borowski and Councilwoman Shockey, that are not enjoying the pension fund. Why? Because that was another cut that they put a threshold, that they have a minimum amount that they have to make per month for them to get credited monthly. Is that right for these two not to collect pensions? Absolutely not. So what I'm trying to say on 2022-44, yet this is only one job we're doing, but I don't care if it's one or it's 10. I've always been the biggest advocate when it comes to Social Security and pension funds, because that's what you're going to retire on. No person should sit home and be nervous not getting a pension or Social Security. That is totally wrong. And I have fought with the unions and up here on city council to make sure everybody enjoys that after they work 30, 40 years or whatever. So I hope council, when they vote on this, they think before they vote yes. And this is not a hit against the mayor or anybody else here. This is what the truth is. You can only keep pulling participants out of that fund for so long. You have people retiring. Somebody has to pay that pension. It doesn't come out of the air. So when you pull people out and people are retiring, you're falling behind. There has been talks where they're going to up the amount of money that people are paid in PRS or SCRS. What's Councilman Grodick is in. Or they're going to go to the public entities and raise the percentage from your tax money to make up the difference of participant loss. So when I hear everybody, and I know they don't mean anything by it, they could be joking, I got mine. That's not the attitude to have. Because the next person behind you wants a pension too. And you won't get it if you reduce the numbers paying into it. So 2022 44-44 is allowing that job to go into the private sector, which is not in the PRS fund. And again, it's only one job, but it's a problem. It's a problem when any county, state, or city does this. I can't control what the state and the county does. I can control by voting against politicians that allow it, but they have their own boards, commissions, and their own council. But when it comes in front of me, I have a vote. And I will protect anybody's pension or Social Security. Even Social Security's running broke. That's another problem we're going to have to deal with. And that's wrong. So I hope City Council will do the right thing and vote this down. It's bad enough they took it out of the union. I wasn't for that, but I have to agree with the wishes of the union that it's now a non-union position. But I don't have to agree with it going to a private sector, pulling it from PRS. So I hope City Council uses what they know is right, and they are in that pension fund, and vote against 2022-44. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Grodick?
Thank you. I also would like to congratulate Ed Stutzman and wish his family good luck. Use his skills. Marie, teach him how to cook. But really, congratulations on a wonderful career and a wonderful family. You may not all be in Brooklyn anymore, but I think all of your hearts remain in Brooklyn. I had the opportunity on December 8th to attend the Global Cleveland annual meeting and award presentation with Councilman Shockey. And I just wanted to say I didn't know very much about the group until this year. It is a relatively new group in Cleveland, 13 years. Their sole purpose is to welcome immigrants into our greater community, greater Cleveland community, find value in the knowledge and the world experience that they're bringing to our community. And the board of trustees that spoke were very heartfelt on how important immigration continues to be in our Cleveland area. And I was proud that the city of Brooklyn was named as a partner, and I hope we not only continue our partnership with Global Cleveland, but become even more involved in the organization. And last, just to touch a little bit more on the plans for the public library that are coming in. I mentioned during my Planning Commission report that the actual plans for the library are available on board docs. Look through the beautiful outside, the beautiful exterior, which will be such a wonderful piece added to our new City Hall, City Center complex. But also take a look at the schematic of the interior and see all that our library will be offering to those of us who use the library. And what a wonderful, wonderful partnership we have. The people that were here presenting the plan were so excited about what they're going to be bringing to our community. And I'll have to say, we were pretty excited to listen to them talk about what our community will have here. It's just a wonderful partnership, and I can't wait to see it going up in person. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Please stay safe, stay warm, enjoy some time with your family and friends. Take some time for yourself also. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Stolchertz?
Thank you. Congratulations to Ed Stutzman also. As Vic said, he's back from hard times, at high school and everything, or he's even maybe a little bit younger. So definitely enjoy all your retirement, sir. Only one thing that came up even this weekend in social media about the home decorating contest. It's going to take a break this year. For years, the judges have driven up and down in every street, taken pictures, tried to decide the best of the best. Not always, everybody was always happy. Last year, the city went to a new format where the photographs were, submitted to an email address, and then the judges tried to figure out the best of the best again. Once again, not everybody was happy. My response over the weekend was, the house decorating contest will not be happening this year. There are a lot of homes decorated already, which is super. The decorations go from elaborate to very simple, such as a candy cane with a bow on it. That's on Archmere. Christmas to everyone is just a little different. There's no right or wrong. Some individuals thought that they should have won. For this year, hopefully residents can go drive around Brooklyn and appreciate the efforts of others. That's the reason for taking a break into this year. With that said, there are numerous homes throughout the city to look at. Delora, Northcliffe, other streets on the east side of Ridge Road, Beach, Morton, Winter Lane, homes in the Brooklyn Acres, the Jumbo Reindeer at the end of Biddulph. These are only a few. Spend a little time to drive around and enjoy. And on that note, please enjoy Christmas and the New Year's holidays with fans and friends and family. May they be pleasant and joyful. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pucci?
Thank you. Good evening. I too would like to congratulate Ed Stutzman on his well-deserved retirement. Thank you so much for your dedication to our community, and especially for all the loving care that you showed to our seniors. You will definitely be missed. I wish you a long, healthy, happy retirement. And I second what Sue said. Marie, you need to teach him to cook, at least the basics. Welcome to Boy Scout Troop 700. We appreciate that you're here at our meeting this evening. And let's see, I'd like to also thank Mr. Wally Parker, the auxiliary, Mr. Nick Maroulis for Santa's visit to Brooklyn over the weekend. This is a much treasured tradition in our community that really means a lot to our community. So thank you so much for continuing on. I know you've been doing it since the 60s? 55 years. Thank you. I guess I'll comment briefly regarding Mr. Tansky's remarks regarding Resolution 2022-44, which is the contract with senior transportation. I guess first, which you said the union did agree to remove the position, and I believe there was something given for that. I do understand the greater point of when there are less people in a pension system, that there are less people contributing, and that for public pensions it can result in the future in higher costs to not just cities but also the employees, and also, as has already happened with a lot of public pensions, reductions and changes to the terms and reductions in benefit. The reality that we're faced with right now, though, is we have really struggled with staffing, especially part-time staffing. And this is such a critical service that we provide to our seniors that I am willing to give it a try. I do understand the greater point, but we have not had good luck attracting part-time workers. And just to clarify, I know with OPERS, if the minimum monthly threshold is not met, that is prorated. It's just not like 1 month to 1 month, but it is prorated. I would like to wish our residents, employees, my colleagues, and all their families a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple things on my report as well. I want to first congratulate Ed Stutzman on your retirement. Very well deserved, and I hope you enjoy the extra free time that you have. Also, I do want to welcome Matt Mosley onto the Fair Housing Committee, which I have served on for the past few years. His term begins in January. We do have him up as a notification tonight on the agenda. I think he'll be a great addition to this committee, and glad that he's excited to get more involved in the city of Brooklyn. NPR had a story earlier about surges in flu, RSV, and COVID that are already occurring and expected during the holiday season. As someone who just had the flu last week, I hope that everybody takes precautions and do what you can to stay safe and healthy this holiday season, including getting the flu shot and washing your hands, covering with coughs, and definitely stay home if you aren't feeling well. And with that, I hope everybody has a healthy and safe holiday and New Year, and I look forward to seeing everybody in 2023. That ends the council reports. We'll move on with the mayor's report.
Thank you. I just want to congratulations to Ed again. When we're putting together a proclamation, we always talk to coworkers about, what they think about some additional things that we should add. And you know a lot about an employee when your coworkers are crying when they're telling you about how much they're going to miss you when you leave, or seniors are crying to tell you about stories where an employee has helped them. So I think that alone, it's beyond what a proclamation can say and speaks to your character. So congratulations. I hope you enjoy your retirement and your next adventures. I want to thank Liz Dregney and Greg Carson. They will be my nominations for the charter update next year. Our charter requires us to take a review every 7 years, so the mayor has 2 appointments. 6 years? I'm sorry, 6 years. I feel like we did it my first year, right? 17? Okay. So every 6 years we do a review, and so the mayor has 2 appointments, and then each city council member has an appointment. So Liz Dregney and Greg Carson will be my nominations. So I want to thank them ahead of time for their service. This is an important committee, and I look forward to what the Charter Review Commission has to say next year. Wally, thank you again for all you do in the Brooklyn Auxiliaries. I know people have already said that, but I heard you ran out of candy canes this weekend, so there was a lot of people out. So that's always a good sign that, I think it's something that people say that the residents of this community enjoy, and I think you can see that, especially on a nice day, and how many people, and if you underestimated the candy canes, because usually that doesn't happen. Also, this last week, First Ring suburb mayors and managers joined with First Ring superintendents. We went over a lot of data about the changing demographics of our community. Some new legislation on both the city and the schools' ends that are going to impact us immensely. Kathy mentioned state funding. This has dramatically changed over the course of the last 2 decades for both the schools and for the cities, losing different items like the cat tax, estate tax, for the city local government fund. So we're looking at our funds and how we can continue to move on without those, hoping that the state looks at it and helps supplement those fundings like they once did, instead of continuing to bankroll that money into a rainy day fund. Beyond that, I think that we talked about ways that we can work together, and maybe some areas where each of us the mayor or the superintendent need to learn a little bit about. One topic that came up, and that's really relevant to what we're discussing today, it came up multiple times, was zoning and the importance of zoning in a community. I'm really proud of that. This has been a focal point of this administration, and I'm confident that the zoning improvements will help Brooklyn in a continued positive direction forward. So I encourage you, I know Jeremy went through the public hearing today. If you haven't over the 18 months taken a look at the numerous public meetings, they're all available on brooklynzoningoh.com. Everything that has gone over the 18 months to get us to this point before the May ballot is available, and I encourage you to go take a look at it. Zoning is critical for a city. It is a very, very boring topic, and I understand that people aren't knocking down the door to learn about it, but it is critically important to a community success. So please go take a look at it, get educated about it, and understand the importance of how it impacts our communities for decades to come. As we close, this is our last meeting of the year. I just want to thank all the employees once again for your hard work over the course of this year. I want to thank the residents and especially those who volunteer. There's multiple people who contribute. I know Andy was talking about even our volunteers who go drive door to door to check out decorations. There are volunteers that may have never been mentioned here, but there's so many people that make this community what it is. So we thank you for everything you do, the employees and your hard work. And to the residents, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
I believe we have just one director's report. Director Raguse.
Good evening. One item for me tonight in relation to ordinance number 2022-45 to amend the 22 annual appropriation. This is going on third reading and for approval by City Council tonight. There have been changes and are changes from as compared to the initial two readings. And at this point, I would like to go over and summarize those changes. For the general fund on the police department wages and benefits, a decrease of $80,000 due to additional funding received for ARP funding and also unused expenditures. On the fire department, wages and benefits decrease of $60,000 due to the assistant chief vacancy. For the fire department, other expenditures, increase of $30,000. This was amended from initial increase of $10,000 due to gas and vehicle repairs. For the ice rink, wages and benefits decrease of $26,000, which was amended from initial decrease of $30,000. Ice rink other expenditures increase of $40,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $30,000. On the building department, increase in wages and benefits of $29,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $22,000. Building department other expenditures increase of $133,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $30,000 due to reimbursable expenses and the CDSG program. Service garage other expenditures increase of $95,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $80,000 due to gas and repairs. And on the transfers and advances, increase of $3,685,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $3,385,000. This is just in case to transfer additional money to the recreation center for future recreation center needs based upon how we finish the general fund this year. Overall general fund expenditures increase of $3.726 million for an overall appropriation of $20,125,785. As I always say, this is a conservative not to exceed estimates. On the all other funds, for the Economic Development Fund, other expenditures increase of $20,000 for additional CRA payments to the school district. Street Construction Fund, increase of $85,000, which was amended from initial increase of $65,000 to take into account increase in gasoline prices. Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, this is the ARP fund that we established last year for the federal dollars that we've received. So as we previously discussed, we're anticipating on receiving additional money for ARP funds. Portion of this money is for the OCJS money that the police department received for grants that will help pay salaries of police officers, overtime salaries of police officers, as well as additional money that we will be receiving from the county for the city center project. So on the wages and benefits, increase of $50,000. And the other expenditures, increase of $740,000. Law Enforcement Trust Fund, increase of $55,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $35,000 for training and supplies. Construction Deposit, increase of $92,000, which was amended from an initial increase of $35,000 to take into account an additional transfer to the general fund that's included in the transfers and advances schedule. Capital Improvement Fund, a decrease of $282,400, which was amended from initial decrease of $480,000. This is based upon the updated 2022 capital plan that we discussed at the committee of the whole meeting, and that's going for city council approval tonight. The retrospective medical claims fund, increase of $1,000 in other expenditures for a review of a workers' compensation case. And overall, increase in all funds of just under $7.6 million for a total appropriation of $40 million. That concludes my report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for going over all of that. It's
Of
much
course.
appreciated.
I love doing it.
And it gave me time for my computer to reboot and
Awesome.
get
Awesome.
hopefully connected to the internet.
I'm having the same problem.
Yeah. We will now go on with business tonight. We will start with notifications. The mayor is nominating, appointment to the Fair Housing Committee, Matt Mosley. This 3-year term expires on 12/31/25, and it is just a notification to council on his appointment. Next up, we have council confirmations. So the confirmation of the conditional use approval for a Cuyahoga County Public Library Brooklyn branch located at 7619 Memphis Avenue. And this is what Mrs. Grodick mentioned in both her planning commission report as well as council report. Any questions from council? I recommend that we confirm the conditional use.
Second.
To confirm the conditional use, Kathy Pucci.
I'm going to abstain, and under our council rules, we need to state why we're abstaining. I do work for the library system, and I don't want there to be any appearance of any conflict. Thank you.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
I'm going to abstain also because I'm with the Friends of the Public Library.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We have it's not a super majority.
Under old business tonight, we have on third reading Resolution 2022-44, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Senior Transportation Connection to provide senior bus transportation services to the city of Brooklyn.
Move to adopt?
Second?
To adopt, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky,
No.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Next up, we have ordinance 2022-34. This is on third reading, but we are looking to amend and place back on second reading tonight. Sorry, computer is not updating. Adopting new Part 11, Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Brooklyn and the new official zoning map of the city.
Move to amend, I believe it's just the zoning map in this one?
I don't think we need that motion.
Okay.
Because it's already happened in committee of the whole. So before you tonight is already the amended map.
Okay.
You might reflect for the record what's been amended, but
Okay.
you don't need that motion.
Okay.
What did he say?
That we did it in committee of the whole, so we don't need, before us is the amended map.
Okay.
So I'm gonna recommend that we defer this to the January meeting.
Second.
To defer to the January meeting, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-35, this is related to the zoning as well, providing for the submission to the electors of the City of Brooklyn, Section 1102.09 of the codified ordinances of the City of Brooklyn, creating new public facilities and parks and open spaces zoning districts. Recommend that we defer to the next meeting.
Second.
To defer to the next meeting, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-36 is also on third reading, but we amended this as well in Committee of the Whole, submitting rezoning of property to public facilities to voters. And this is amending the change of the public facilities to take out the school board properties and keep them as they are currently zoned in the residential district. I recommend that we place on, or defer, sorry.
Second.
To defer to the next meeting, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-37 through 42. Director Butler, are we able to, I'll read them all into the record, but make sure that we take one vote for all of these, or do we have to vote individually?
Madam Chair, all I would ask is that if you read all of them into the record at once, you take one vote at the end of that, asking to suspend the rules to permit you placing all of those on second reading.
Thank you.
at once.
So ordinance 2022-37 is submitting rezoning of properties to parks and open spaces to voters. Ordinance 2022-38, submit rezoning of properties to general industrial to voters. Ordinance 2022-39, submit rezoning of properties to general business to voters. Ordinance 2022-40, submit rezoning of properties to dwelling house to voters. Ordinance 2022-41, submit rezoning of properties to retail business to voters. And finally, ordinance 2022-42, submit rezoning of properties to apartment house to voters. And I recommend that we suspend all of the rules to defer all of these ordinances to the next meeting.
Second.
To defer all the red
Madam Clerk, to suspend the rules, please.
what did he say?
To suspend the rules.
Suspend our council.
Oh, I'm sorry. To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, just point of order. I would just ask for a second motion now to defer all those items at once
Okay.
to the next meeting.
So I recommend that I move that we defer these ordinances, ordinance 2022-37 through ordinance 2022-42 to defer to the next meeting.
Second.
To defer to the next meeting, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky. Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes,
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
thank you for that, Director Butler.
Sure.
Ordinance 2022-45 is on third reading and up for adoption tonight, amended annual appropriations, and this is what Director Raguse discussed in his director's report tonight. He read all of those changes in. Make a recommendation that we adopt.
Second.
Does it need to be amended? Or is it okay?
Is amended.
As amended.
Okay.
Thank you.
To adopt as amended, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
On third reading and up for adoption tonight is ordinance 2022-46, the annual appropriations for 2023. Make a motion that we adopt.
Second.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-47 is also up for third reading and adoption tonight, amending Exhibit A of Ordinance 2022-43, providing for the compensation for the part-time, full-time, and administrative employees non-bargaining agreement of the City of Brooklyn, Ohio. Make a motion that we adopt.
Second.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
pardon me, I just want to revisit the council confirmation of the conditional use approval. There was just some mention on the record of whether or not council may need to vote with a supermajority for that, and the the zoning code merely requires a majority vote of council in order to confirm a conditional use. So that motion has passed.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Under new business tonight, we have Resolution 2022-45, which is on first reading, but administration is looking to suspend the rules for adoption. This is extending a moratorium imposed by Resolution 2022-20 on the granting of building permits for any building, structure, use, or change of use that would enable the construction of billboards for a period not to exceed 180 days from the effective date of this resolution and declaring an emergency. And this is a resolution we have had a couple of times before us, and it is, while we update our zoning code and we talked about billboards and signs, we want to make sure that we have a pause on these coming into the city while we're reviewing the code and before it goes to voters. So hopefully this puts us on the right about the time that the new zoning code will be adopted.
Introduced by all to suspend the rules.
Second?
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-46 is on first reading, and also administration is looking to suspend the rules tonight. This is a similar ordinance extending a moratorium imposed by Resolution 2022-19 on the granting of building permits for any building, structure, use, or change of use that would enable the construction of storage units or self-service storage facilities for a period not to exceed 180 days from the effective date of this resolution and declaring an emergency.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules?
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-47 is also on first reading tonight, but looking for suspension of the rules. Amending Resolution 2022-39, approving of a construction budget and authorizing execution of guaranteed maximum price amendments for the city center project and declaring an emergency. And this is just a $3,000 addition for the electrical that after building it out, we realized we needed a little bit more electrical. And so I recommend that we suspend the rules and adopt.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules?
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-50, authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn, Ohio, to authorize an amended fee schedule with Life Force Management, Inc. for third-party EMS and ambulance billing, and directing Life Force Management, Inc. to bill non-residents for unreimbursed EMS and ambulance charges. Ordinance 2022-51 is on first reading tonight. Adopting new section 133.03, Ohio Revised Code 3313.35, inapplicable of the codified ordinances of the city of Brooklyn.
Request suspension.
Request suspension of the rules.
Introduced by all to suspend the rules.
Second.
To To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-52 is on first reading and requesting suspension of the rules tonight, authorizing the sale of certain city-owned personal property through Rising Phoenix Management LLC, doing business as, thank you, Fast Track Marketplace for the purpose of disposing of city property at public online sale. This is for items in this building before we demolish it after the new city hall is built. We're looking to sell what we can.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules?
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
And finally, tonight we have ordinance 2022-53, which is on first reading, but administration is requesting suspension of the rules, authorizing the updated capital improvement plan for 2022. This is regarding a traffic signal from damage from an accident, as well as recreation trails. Introduced by all to suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Anybody else on council, mayor, or administration have any comments, questions?
Yes, Councilman Pro Tem.
Yes.
There were some comments made by Councilwoman Pucci, mentioning that hard time getting employees to drive our senior bus. Senior transportation has no problem getting employees. They come up with all kinds of employees. So that doesn't fly with me there. Second thing, reduction in pension, she mentioned. Anytime you got a reduction in pension, one person gets it and the other one doesn't, that's dividing your population. When you all pay into the pension, nobody should be divided, nobody should have reduction. If you do the right thing, don't lose participants, nobody should have reduction. That goes for Social Security, that goes for PERS, that goes for SCRS, and any other pension. Thank you.
Thank you. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
To adjourn, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Aaron Borowski.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great holiday, and see you in 2023.